The start of the Arca season was a media blitzkrieg called Danica.
Here comes Danica Patrick once again.
That was really fun. I was going side by side with people.
This was definitely a successful evening in the Arca series for Danica.
The first stock car start was a success for the IndyCar driver, coming home sixth. But after all the cards were dealt, it was Arca veteran Bobby Gerhart capturing his sixth Daytona crown. Now, with Danica Mania having moved on, it's time for the Arca regulars to make their moves and start laying the groundwork for the 2010 championship. The next stop, Texas Motor Speedway, and the return of the Arca series to the Lone Star State. 3 races into the season and new faces are dominating the headlines. It's a youthful group that has everyone's attention battling for this championship. 2 first-time winners in the series, Steve Arpin and Justin Marks, both sharing the top spot in our point standings. Welcome to Fort Worth, Texas, and welcome to the Arca Racing Series presented by RE/MAX and Menards. It's the Arca Rattlesnake 150 from the Texas Motor Speedway. Round 4 of the Arca Racing Series. An overcast sky today with 76 degrees, a light breeze, perfect racing weather for the Arca RE/MAX series and presented by Menards. Let's look back at what took place in our opening season. The race that kicked off in Daytona with problems Bill Baird early on, and then cars filing into that.
Meanwhile, Danica was able to avoid that incident in her first ever stock car race.
Craig Ghost gets into the side of Dakota Armstrong. Hard contact, a roll by the 06 of Barry Fitzgerald.
But this is the big move of the race. These guys come down pit road, but he doesn't. Bobby Gerhart stays on the racetrack.
Gerhart gambles, stays on the racetrack. Can he hold on? He does. Gerhart wins his 6th Daytona trophy in the Arca Racing Series.
But watch this battle for 6 right here. That's Danica in the green car on the outside, Ricky Carmichael on the inside, beating and banging, and Danica gets it by a nose.
Gerhart hoists the trophy at the end of the evening. The series moves off to the road course of Palm Beach International Raceway, and Justin Marks, even in inclement weather, is able to get his first ever win in the Arca Racing Series.
For the first time in over 50 years, the Arca series races in the rain.
They go to the short track next of Salem Speedway, and it's Steve Arpin in the 55 also claiming his first ever win in the Arca Racing Series. His teammate Craig Ghost finishing in 2nd. Take a look at our point standings. Steve Arpin and Justin Marks atop the list at 660 points. Patrick Sheltra also looking for his first championship in this series. Now let's go trackside to Jim Trado.
And a most recent race winner, a first-timer, Steve Arpin, has a smile on his face he can't get rid of, but why not? He's been a very fast racer. He shares the point lead, and here at Texas, in the test a month ago, he was fast, top 5. Yesterday in practice, top 3 in the speed chart. Leading the points, winning your first race, and now at a track you're very comfortable with, Steve. How are you going to channel that momentum into the race today?
I tell you what, we unloaded yesterday with a really good car right out of the trailer. I wish we had a chance to qualify, because I think these guys brought me a good enough car that we could have sat on the pole, but this Mike's Hard Lemonade Chevy is really good. It doesn't matter where we start. We're just going to take our time and stay out of trouble and get to the front for the end.
It was announced today that you're going to make your NASCAR Nationwide Series debut next weekend at Talladega. Tell us about this opportunity.
I tell you what, it was a big day for me on Monday. We won our first race on Sunday. We got Mike's Hard Lemonade on board to sponsor us. We got a call from Junior Motorsports and Dale and all the guys over there and Kelly. They're just a bunch of great guys. We started working with them back in September with the marketing side of things, developed a great relationship with them. So it's just real exciting to have the opportunity to go out in Talladega and race, and hopefully it'll be the first of many. We'll just see how it goes.
We shall see how it goes from 22nd today for Steve Arpin, who shares the point lead. Now let's check in with Wendy Venturini.
Well, Steve Arpin may have been our most recent Arca winner here in this series. 2 races ago at Palm Beach, it was our shared points leader, Justin Marks. Now, Justin, there's such a sense of speed here. What does it feel in the race car, and what are you expecting with tonight's race?
Well, it's fast. It's awesome. I love coming to this place. It's a real special racetrack they built here. You know, what do I expect tonight? It's been a while since I've been on a mile-and-a-half track in the Arca series. I know we've got a really good car. Starting order's a little bit jumbled with the way it lined up, and so I expect some fast guys back there to be coming to the front pretty quick. So we're just going to try to survive the first part and, you know, put ourselves in a good position. I'm looking forward to it.
Now 3 races in, you and Steve Arpin are already battling for a championship, it seems. How tough is this competition this year?
Oh, it's great. I mean, those Venturini guys do a really, really good job. Steve's a great driver. He's been, you know, he's gotten a good opportunity here with Junior, and he deserves it. And it's great to have somebody like that we can really fight week in and week out with for this championship. I'm looking forward to it. It wouldn't mean anything if we didn't have to fight hard for it.
All right, Justin Marks, he was fastest in practice yesterday. He will start 4th tonight. Jim?
And the driver who's strapping in on the pole position is Nelson Piquet. The driver points stack up where the owner points set the lineup. And Nelson, we're going to dip in here quickly here. Another new experience for you here in the Arca Racing Series. Talk about leading us to green here in your second Arca start.
Well, don't know what to say, really. I mean, of course, I would have wanted to do the pole by time, but luckily, I mean, I was lucky to have the car that won the championship last year. So I think now it's just need to do a good start and concentrate to do a good beginning, keep the car in the front, and try not to get involved in accidents, try to keep on the race, learn a bit more. I think there's still lots to learn, and really happy. I think the team's doing a good job, and I think we have a car to win.
He was top 10 in practice speeds, guys.
See the crowd getting ready. The pre-race ceremonies continuing, and let's go trackside for today's invocation.
Present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Texas Motor Speedway track chaplain Father Jay Atwood offers tonight's invocation.
Almighty God, we give you thanks for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We give you thanks for the freedoms we celebrate in this country and for the men and women who defend those freedoms every day. We give you thanks for motor racing, for the sponsors, the promoters, the teams, the drivers, and ask for your safety and protection upon all of them this night. Give them the best of their ability. And remind each of us that what we do to your honor and glory. This we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
And here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Hometown Hero National Anthem Contest winner, Morgan Kirby.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's hear it once again for 10-year-old Morgan Kirby.
Spectacular job by Morgan Kirby with tonight's anthem. The drivers are strapped in. They're about to fire up here in Texas. Welcome back to the Arca Rattlesnake 150 at Texas Motor Speedway. The sun's setting as the lights are about to come on and the engines are about to be fired up. The last time that happened was 12 years ago in 1998. Let's take a look back when the Arca Racing Series was last at this mile-and-a-half.
Frank Kimmel, the 46 car, was our pole sitter. The 59 of Mark Gibson gets in the back of Frank Kimmel. Frank got a little bit loose, and around it goes. Hard contact into the inside wall.
Virtually ending Frank Kimmel's night, but it was Mark Gibson who went on to collect the checkered flag, his first ever win in the Arca Racing Series. They celebrated. It was Bill Baird coming home in second in that race. There are 3 drivers that were in that race that are also in this race. Tonight, Frank Kimmel, Brad Smith, and James Harvey Hilton will all be starting tonight's race, 12 years after the first ever run at Texas Motor Speedway. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen and Phil Parsons with you. Now, Phil, I'd mentioned 12 years since we've been here. Things have changed. We've gone a lot faster. As a matter of fact, I think Frank Kimmel had the pole at 173 miles an hour. These guys are going about 185 miles an hour now.
Yeah, our fastest car in practice ran almost 187 miles an hour here. So a very, very fast racetrack. As a matter of fact, it's the fastest racetrack on the entire Arca Racing series. Now, we have 5 of the fastest 16 cars in practice that will be starting back outside of the top 20 because we rained out qualifying. So there's going to be a lot of goers and comers, but real fast action here. Great racetrack, plenty of room for side-by-side racing. We're going to see a lot of that.
What about the youth in this field? I mean, we've got some young kids in here with not a lot of experience at a racetrack like this.
Yeah, and this is fast. Daytona's a whole different animal. You kind of get wound up and go a little bit slower than here, but here you have the acceleration. Extremely fast, and I think these guys are really going to learn a lot tonight.
They're going to have to learn a lot very quickly. As the engines are about to be fired, let's go down for the command.
And now, race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome your grand marshals, members of the heavy metal band Free Reign, lead guitarist Justin Chapman, Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman and lead vocalist Mark Colombo, and Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman and drummer Corey Proctor.
Drivers, start your engines!
They scared all 38 drivers into starting their engines. They've come to life. That is the engines, and we're about to go green. Coverage of the Arca Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by RE/MAX. Find your dream home at RE/MAX.com. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Welcome back. Cars are rolling around this racetrack. Your starting grid's going to roll across the top of the screen.
Nelson Piquet Jr. for his second ever stock car race. Actually ran the truck as well as the Arca car in Daytona. Did a great job finishing in the 6th position, but will start on the pole.
And they roll around this mile-and-a-half racetrack. Let's take a look at our Burger King track description.
Great facility here, built back in 1995. They actually redid this racetrack. They changed the transition. They softened them up into and out of the corners, made it a terrific racetrack. You can race all over this racetrack from the bottom to the top. You see the banking in each end, 24 degrees.
Has a quad oval in the front, so it's not a straightaway, and it's not a tri-oval, a little quad oval as they go across the stripe. Our race analysis for this Rattlesnake 150 has us going 100 laps.
You can see the pit window was somewhere between 60 and 70 laps. Remember, with a 100-lap race, a lot of talk in the garage area. Let's try to get 35, 40 laps in. Then we'll stop, and if we go green the rest of the way, then we know we're okay. But they may decide to put tires on later if the caution flag were to come out. You can see pit road speed 45 miles per hour.
We'll ride along with 2 different drivers. One of those being Joey Coulter in the number 16. He'll start in the 5th position.
Steve Arpin in the number 55 car, our most recent winner, with a great sponsor, new sponsor on board, Mike's Hard Lemonade. They're very, very excited about having that, but he starts way back in the 22nd position.
Field looks as though they're getting the 1 to go sign. Next time by, they'll get the green flag. Before that happens, let's go back to pit road and Jim Trado.
Guys, you have to keep an eye on Frank Kimmel. That number 44 car has never been raced by Kimmel Racing before, but that car was a Roush Fenway car that Carl Edwards drove here. Carl's got 2 victories in Texas. This race car, according to Bill Kimmel, the crew chief, is the best mile-and-a-half race car this team has yet to put together. They didn't test here in March. They came down yesterday. They said that's our test session. They changed springs 4 different times, fixed the seat. Frank's comfortable. Bill thinks they got a chance for a victory here at Texas. Wendy?
And when it comes to Mikey Kyle in the field, he starts 11th, but it's not an indicator of how these cars are going to race tonight. This was the starting grid. Take it and tear it up, because of course we got rained out for qualifying. The 25 car of Mikey Kyle has the very fast car here at Texas. He was fastest at the test session earlier in the month, and he was fast yesterday in practice. He feels confident about the car, and he's going to be aggressively optimistic when the green flag drops, according to Mikey Kyle in that Tag Heuer Toyota car. He didn't need his sunglasses yesterday, guys. As you know, we got rained out for qualifying.
And that is why we have set up based upon owner points. And because of that, there are a lot of great cars, as you mentioned earlier, starting 20th and back.
Oh, they really are. There's going to be a great race back there. There's that 55 car, Steve Arpin. What a terrific job he did at Salem last week. Here's Mikey Kyle in the 25. Grant Enfinger, always in that 09, always runs extremely well on a limited schedule here.
They will have a lot of competition to work around to see if they can get up front, but both of those drivers had great cars in practice yesterday. We'll see if that translates into great racing today on the track. The pace car has made its way off of the racing surface. Now it is Nelson Piquet and Justin Marks bringing the field to the green flag.
What a nice start by Nelson Piquet. He's never done this before in a stock car. Did a great job. Justin Marks doing a pretty good job from the outside of that front row.
He took the lead going through 1 and 2. Now down the backstretch, it's Justin Marks, our point leader, co-point leader, out front of this field. That bright yellow 44 of Frank Kimmel moving to the front once again.
We told you could go all around this racetrack. Dakota Armstrong on the outside, making it 3 wide. Tim George Jr. in the middle in a 31 car.
2 and 3 wide as they cross the stripe at 31. Tim George Jr. really right in the middle, a tough position to be in, but he's able to keep it straight. Brian Silas slowing down on the high side of the racetrack.
I think maybe
no problems with that.
Maybe just a little unsure up there. Probably hadn't been up there in practice. A little bit unsure if there was enough grip up there. And believe me, there is.
And one of the other things that happens with the Arca Racing Series, they race on Hoosier tires. The last vehicle to be on the racetrack was the Sprint Cup cars, and they'd race on Goodyear tires.
That's right. A lot of times guys say that really affects these cars, but it doesn't look like it's affecting. Caution is out. We have problems off turn number 4.
Spinner in turn number 4, just as they come out of turn 4. That's the 10 of Nur Ali. He's a native of right here in Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, home about 10 minutes from here.
What a horrible break for Nur Ali. We talked to him yesterday in the garage. You're so excited to be here. 900 tickets he got for this race.
Yeah.
Sponsored by some local sponsors. The local distributor for Budweiser is one of the sponsors on board.
Yeah, it looks like both right side tires are down. Actually, the left side tire looks down as well.
There's a lot of damage to the rear of that car, unfortunately, for Nur.
Let's take a look at what happened. Just a quick glimpse.
Look top of your screen as the cars exit turn number 4. See Nur already loose when he comes into view there, makes contact with the outside wall. Let's see if we can take another look. There he is already sideways. Slides up the racetrack, but great news, only a 1-car incident here.
Yeah, and doesn't look like a lot of cars were around him too, so maybe just broke free when he got back in the gas.
Yeah, and again, you know, very limited amount of practice these cars haven't been on the racetrack since yesterday afternoon.
So the first caution comes out on lap 2 of the Arca Racing Series. Return to Texas Motor Speedway. We'll be back with more here on Speed. Tonight on Speed, they take you inside the life of Bill France Sr., the man that created NASCAR, America's #1 spectator sport. His vision built Daytona International Speedway and Talladega Superspeedway. You won't want to miss the NASCAR Hall of Fame biography of Bill France Sr. tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. I caught a glimpse of that. One of the portions of it shows Bill France talking about when the drivers thought they were going to form a union. And he said, no, you're not going to form a union. not in my sport. So it's very interesting and a must see. You're going to want to watch that. That is right after tonight's race. Bringing the field to the green flag, it's Justin Marks. Back up to speed they go. Green back out.
Might mention Steve Arpin started back in the 22nd position, up to the top 10 just in a lap and a half.
How about that 32 getting shot out of a cannon there at the beginning of this race. He's already got a 4-car length lead over Nelson Piquet. Oh, problems back here, slowing down.
That's Tom Hessert.
Tom Hessert.
Tom, I think, was in the top 5 in points coming in here. Obviously a serious problem for Tom Hessert.
He slows down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Tom's had 2 top 5 finishes in his last 2 races.
Field working their way around him. He looks to be coming on to pit road as he comes out of turn 4.
This is the same team that finished runner-up to the championship with Parker Kligerman last year.
Yeah, just 5 points out of that championship. Wendy Venerini.
Tom Hessert is in. It's going to be 2 tires. We're going to assess exactly if it was a flat tire on that car, but they did call for 2 tires at the last minute. I can imagine it's going to be a flat tire for Tom Hessert, but as you mentioned, Phil, tough break for a guy that's running for points.
Looks like they're going to make the 4-tire change. Now they do have the lucky dog in the Arca Racing Series, so if he does go a lap down, he will be eligible for that. Take a look at Steve Arpin making the move in that 55.
Yeah, that's a battle for the 8th position. Ooh, the slow car on the bottom. He had to avoid him.
Had to check out the 06 of Barry Fitzgerald slow on the racetrack.
Good side-by-side battle. There's Mikey Kyle, the 25 on the inside. Patrick Sheltra on the outside in the 60 car.
Again, Sheltra running for a championship, currently 3rd in the point standings. And Mikey Kyle with a strong race car goes around him on the inside. Field spreading out once again as we're closing in on lap 10 of this race. Again, just a 100-lap race, 150 miles as we ride with Steve Arpin.
A lot of confidence Steve Arpin has right now, coming off that big win at Salem. Just announced, as we talked about, going to drive for Dale Jr. in the Nationwide Series. A lot of bright things on the horizon for Steve Arpin.
You remember the last driver that Dale Jr. called up and said, hey, would you drive my Nationwide car? It went pretty well for young Brad Keselowski.
He might not have been the last one that Dale Jr. called, but he was one of the first ones that he called.
Yeah. So Steve Arpin coming up to the back bumper of that 36 of Rob Brent as we see the distance between 1 and 2. Justin Marks looking very strong on the racetrack.
You know, Justin opened up a 4 or 5 car length lead right on the initial restart. But Nelson Piquet Jr.'s really hung in there pretty well. They're running some good lap times within a half a tenth of each other.
Nelson Piquet running in that 6th spot. Used to open wheel racing.
Yeah, he had a podium finish back in 2008 at the German Grand Prix. Drove for Renault. Still very, very young and really wants to make an effort here to make it in stock car racing. He's going to do some more Arca races here with Eddie Sharp Racing and going to also do some truck races like he did at Daytona for Red Horse Racing.
Said he was back in Brazil just recently and it was like riding a bike. Everything came right back to him. He goes, but I'm going to need some more starts in these stock cars to make it feel that comfortable. Joey Coulter just in front of that 25 of Mikey Kyle. These two still battling for position. Here comes Patrick Sheltra once again on the bottom of the racetrack.
That's a battle for the 6th position. Mikey Kyle, that Tag Heuer Toyota, I believe Mikey Kyle's in.
How about the strong performance by Steve Arpin, closing the gap on the 60 of Patrick Sheltra.
Already up to the 8th position, started back in 22nd. Remember, he was one of the fastest cars in practice, but because of the qualifying being rained out, they reverted back to last year's points, and he started back on the. Mikey Kyle got sideways.
Mikey Kyle, he catches Joey Coulter. Also, it looks like the 60 is caught up in this. Did Steve Arpin get caught in it? Yes, he did in the 55.
Doesn't look like any of these cars have a great deal of damage. You see Patrick Sheltra already driving away.
And the caution comes out for the 2nd time now.
There goes Steve Arpin, the 55 drives away. Now Mikey Kyle's trying to refire that Tag Heuer car.
We're going to get another look at it, but we saw it live. That 25 got a little bit loose, and there's a lot of damage on the inside, the front left of that 55 car of Steve Arpin. Remember, as fast as he was.
And this is a fast racetrack. Aerodynamics are very, very critical. See flat tires on Joey Coulter's car. I don't see a great deal of body damage. Field now coming off turn number 4. Again, as you mentioned, we have the lucky dogs, so it's not the kiss of death to get a lap down.
Now, the one thing that's happening, Joey Coulter went on to pit road. I believe pit road was probably closed at the time. He may be penalized for that. Let's take another look.
Mikey Kyle drives to the inside. We see he gets loose as soon as he gets to the bottom of the racetrack, slides up the hill. These other guys with absolutely nowhere to go, but they do a nice job of not making any more contact than they did. Patrick did a nice job avoiding the inside wall. Here's another view. You see him get loose. He has to chase the car up the hill. Then he runs into Joey Coulter. You see Joey hard on the throttle to keep that car from backing up into the outside wall.
Tough situation for those two drivers. Again,
watch him get loose now, Rick. On the inside, you see him get loose. He has to chase it up the hill. If Joey Coulter wasn't there, he probably would have caught that car and had no problem. But unfortunately, Joey was there. Patrick hard on the brakes. You see Steve Arpin running in the back of the 60 of Patrick Shelter just briefly.
Phil, those are 4 of the fastest cars that were on the racetrack, all involved in this second incident. Grant Infinger in the 09 able to go by on the outside without problems. We ride along with Steve Arpin. This is what he saw.
See him make the contact with Patrick Shelter. Really nowhere to go. Fortunately, it wasn't extremely hard contact. But again, this is a very aerodynamic racetrack.
Jim Trado.
Guys, the right front rub is what they're most worried about. Arpin came down pit road. Team principal Billy Venturini tolling for just 4 tires. They may come back in. They tried to get the left front fender out, but as the car went down, a bit of confusion for Arpin. The Mike Lemonade Chevrolet most likely will come back down pit road. Wendy?
And the 25 of Mikey Kyle said he got a little bit free under Joey Coulter. That's exactly what happened. However, the spotter has reported there is no fender damage. When Mikey Kyle comes to a stop here, I'm going to get a little bit better look at the 25. If they're calling for 4 tires, he does have a little bit of damage towards the nose on the right-hand side. But other than that, guys, on the left-hand side, just cosmetic damage is not going to cause any issues for Mikey Kyle. But on the right side, if you get a better look when he gets back on the racetrack, but right now it seems simply cosmetic for Mikey Kyle, and he stayed on the lead lap, which and now they're going to call for some bear bond tape. They are calling for some bear bond on that right-hand nose, guys.
Yeah, Wendy, you're right. Very, very little cosmetic damage here. They had a little bit of a tire rub, it looks like, potentially on the right front, so they're going to pull it out a little bit. Just a touch of damage to the right front nose. They may put some X-Flex tape on there, as you were talking about. You see it right there. But I don't think it'll considerably change this car much.
Tom Birdie in the 35 will get the Aaron's lucky dog, so he will get a lap back as we've completed 15 laps here at Texas Motor Speedway. Stay with us here on Speed. Tomorrow, Formula One is on speed in Malaysia. Schumacher's troubles continued while Vettel and Weber stood 1 and 2 on the podium. Now in the shadow of the Great Wall, the Bulls will again be unleashed. Don't miss Formula One Grand Prix of China tomorrow live at 2:30 Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
And that's AM.
That is AM.
Bit of a time difference.
Because, by the way, it's in the shadows of the Great Wall. James Buescher made his way all the way up into the 9th position in that number 51. They had to change a motor yesterday. He was only on the racetrack about 5 laps, and they had problems.
It started back on 29th, so a nice move early for James Buescher. I think Joey Coulter is the only one of those cars involved that lost a lap.
Green flag back in the air. We're back underway. Again, lap down cars restart on the inside lane in the Arca Racing Series. That's why you're seeing someone battle Justin Marks right now. 3 and 4 wide as they go into turn number 1. That gets straightened out.
That's
How about Steve Arpin making a big move?
It's not a battle for the lead. Remember, Tom Hessert made an unscheduled pit stop. He's being shown 2 laps down, but he will never get the lucky dog. He needs to get one of these laps back like he's doing on his own and then be in the position to get a lucky dog.
There's a battle for the 3rd position. Kimmel on the inside, Craig Ghost on the outside, and that number 81.
There's Rob Brent, the 36 on the outside. That's Justin Allgaier's team. And there's Grant Infinger, the 09.
And we saw Grant Infinger going around the outside of those 4 cars that had problems. Spinning on the racetrack. The 38 goes around. That's Alex Kennedy. Does he stay out of the wall? He does.
He does. And we know caution flag is out.
Caution flag comes out once again. That's the 3rd time tonight.
Tom Hessert was not able to stay in front of Justin Marks, so he will not get one of his laps back.
Another tire issue here for Alex Kennedy. The right side tires both down on that race car.
Take a look back at what happened. You see him on the inside right here. There's Patrick Shelter and Joey Coulter going by on the outside. Mikey Kyle now comes through the grass, actually. Didn't have quite enough room. Makes a little bit of contact with Alex Kennedy. Alex did a nice job of not hitting anything else. You see him stay in a throttle till he gets back off the racetrack, and then he just steers it away from the inside wall.
Alex Kennedy was holding his line. Mikey Kyle went through the grass to get to the inside of that race car. And again, as you mentioned, holding it off of the racetrack and out of the way of any of the other cars. Take another look.
Mikey Kyle has a good run going, but doesn't have quite enough room to get by without going through the grass, and then had to come back up on the racetrack. Made that contact with Alex Kennedy.
So Alex Kennedy comes back onto pit road after his problems on the racetrack. Justin Marks out in front of Nelson Piquet. Craig Ghost, Frank Kimmel, and Grant Enfinger. Again, the third caution comes out. This time it's in the quad oval. Mikey Kyle in that 25 with a big run. Couldn't get by on the inside. Alex Kennedy goes sideways. Tomorrow, the American Le Mans Series heads to the coast of California, where the high-tech sports cars of ALMS will stream through the streets of Long Beach. This is one road race you will not want to miss. The American Le Mans Series from Long Beach tomorrow, live 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Let's go back down to pit road and Wendy Venturini.
Thanks, Rick. Our leader, Justin Marks, just reported a message to his team that a team never wants to hear. He said, "I don't want to alarm you, but we might have motor issues." He feels like it doesn't feel very good. It's not pulling very hard, and when he clutches it at the green, it does not want to go for Justin Marks. So they decided to switch boxes on the to the B box under this caution. They're going to make a run with this and see if it fixes the problem that Justin Marks is feeling with that engine. Jim?
And the car that was the rocket ship early on is the co-point leader heading into this race. It happens to be the driver of the 55, Steve Arpin. Now, Steve said on the radio just a minute ago under that caution, "Guys, the car is fine. It's a little free on entry. I'm going to have to change my driving line. It's not what you did or didn't do to the front end of the car. It feels fine." So Arpin thinks all is good. When they did come back down pit road the second time, they just knocked out the left front fender. The crew looked at the left front balance underneath the front end. It all looked good. So Arpin's back on the charge in the 55.
And he has been charging, not only starting 22nd, making his way up into almost the top 5, and then a little bit of an issue with 3 other cars.
And then back up into the top 15 right now. So
knocked him back a ways.
Very, very fast car.
Interesting maneuver here right before we go to the green flag. That's the 15. Allie Owens made the pass.
That's
on
Joey
the
Coulter.
The 16 of Joey Coulter made the pass. Now green flag comes out for the 32. That is Justin Marks back out front once again.
I'm not sure Joey Coulter might not get penalized for that. I think he felt like he should be ahead of the 77 because he's only 1 lap down, but you know, that was awfully late to make that move.
He has been posted. You are right on. He was not supposed to do that. Any lap down cars are in the inside lane, but it's as they're running on the racetrack.
Watch Arpin on the outside, drive by the 29 of Chad Finley, drive by the 22 of Dakota Armstrong, now going after the 11 of Brian Silas.
And sliding almost sideways as he came out of 4 and into the quad oval. Steve Arpin, a man on a mission. Now we haven't even got to 1/4 of the way through this race, and he is getting after it.
He went from 15 to 8 on that lap.
Now, is that too hard on his tire?
No, absolutely not.
All right. Steve Arpin currently running in the 8th spot. That's what he sees in front of him, the guys he's got to get by.
That's James Busher, the 51 car, the Phoenix Racing car right in front of him. That's actually Rob Brent on the right. That was the red car was James Busher.
Frank Kimmel, Grant Enfinger side by side as they go through the quad oval. Just in front of them, that's the 77 of Tom Hessert. Again, he's 2 laps down.
Now Steve Arpin's going to go to the inside of Rob Brent. That battle for the 7th position.
Arpin takes that spot away as they go down the backstretch.
Rob Brent finished 2nd on the road course at West Palm Beach. That was his best career finish to date.
Grant Enfinger and that 09 working on the 44 of Frank Kimmel. Enfinger 30th in our season opener. Problem once again. This time it is Allie Owens in the 15 that gets sideways. Through the grass she goes. In the quad oval, it looks as though everything's going to be fine for her. No caution on the racetrack.
They stay green. She did a nice job of not drifting back up into the traffic, but she may not have slid long enough on the racetrack to flatten her tires.
She looks like she's got some damage to the right front of that race car. It bent under just a bit. Let's take a look. Lower portion of your screen.
You see Allie, she's right of your screen. She's going to come in your screen. She gets a little wide, I think, and then maybe tried to turn it away from the wall to make sure she didn't hit the outside wall. When she did, she lost the back end. Did a nice job, though, not drifting back up into traffic.
We're going to show you one more look. This is from the flag stand view.
Yeah, I think she was drifting out towards the outside wall, snatched it away from the outside wall, and then lost control of the back end, but did a nice job. But she is on pit road.
There you see Allie Owens on pit road. There's the damage to the right front of that race car. This battle continues between Grant Enfinger and Frank Kimmel.
Grant Enfinger only made 11 starts last year, but 4 of those resulted in top 5 finishes, including 2 runner-up finishes at Kentucky and Chicago last year.
Riding along with Steve Arpin, running in the 7th spot now.
James Busher right in front of him. Remember, he was a two-time winner last year, and he's also the youngest winner we ever had in the Arca Racing Series when he won Lakeland a few years ago.
At the age of 16, now James Busher trying to battle for a win here at Texas. Let's go back trackside to Jim Fredo.
It'll be a 4-tire change for Allie Owens in Electrifying Careers Chevrolet. She did go through the grass. She did do a hippity hop, I guess a rodeo ride, if you will, across the infield when she got from the grass back onto the turn 1 apron. That did knock the balance in a little bit. They're looking at the right front fender as well. Under green here, she's down at least 1 lap as they're trying to get that nose squared away before they send her back on the racetrack.
While she was having the work done on the race car, the 16 of Joey Coulter served his penalty for doing that jump at the restart by trying to go around the 77 of Tom Hessert.
And Grant Enfinger was able to get by the 44 of Frank Kimmel to take over the 4th position. There's Ricky Carmichael. Ricky's up to the 11th spot. He started way back in the 33rd position.
Sean Corr in the 82 just behind him.
Mikey Kyle right behind on the inside of Sean Corr. Mikey, remember, still on the lead lap.
Mikey Kyle trying to keep it straight down underneath Sean Corr as those two run side by side. Left side of your screen, battle for the 5th spot. Steve Arpin's taking it away from Frank Kimmel.
Yeah, James Busher actually has already got by to take over the 5th position. That now is a battle for 6th. Steve Arpin just took over the 6th spot from Frank Kimmel.
Just behind Kimmel, the 29, Chad Finley.
Chad's father, Jeff, was in that first race we had here back in 1998.
Frank Kimmel seems to be dropping back just a bit, Jim.
And guys, it's not so much not having fresher tires in the cars that did pit. He said, my car starts to push when I get close to another car.
Jim across the infield once again, the 38. This time, Alex Kennedy slides through the grass. No caution as he straightens it back out, stays out of the racing lane.
It's a battle for 11th right there. Ricky Carmichael has 11th. Mikey Kyle 12th. Sean Corr now in 13th.
Mikey Kyle must have a little bit of damage to that 25 because he cannot get by the 44, and he was one of our strongest cars. Speaking of strongest, the 32 has been extremely strong as we see a battle for the 2nd spot. Craig Ghost in the 81 gets by Nelson Piquet in the 6th, takes 2nd away.
And these guys are teammates, both out of Eddie Sharp's stable.
So Craig Ghost now will try to reel in that 32. Wendy?
Well, Justin Marks is still up front, 34 laps in. However, he has reported that he still has problems. When he switched over to the B box, it did not get any better. The motor has a vibration. Justin Marks is just hoping it hangs on for this race.
He's got a long ways to go. 65 laps to complete before the end of this one, but he does have almost a 2.5 second lead over Craig Ghost. So Justin Marks is setting a blistering pace, but could the engine make it all the way to the end? Stay with us. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. It's Justin Marks out in front. He has complained about a potential engine problem, but it has not slowed him down. As a matter of fact, he continues to set the fastest lap times around this 1.5 mile racetrack.
Craig Ghost, once he got by his teammate Nelson Piquet Jr., now is running very comparable lap times to what Justin Marks is. These guys now are getting close to their pit window. If the caution were to come out right now, they've completed 37 laps. They can run about 60 to 70 laps. So right now, I think if the caution flag were to come out, everybody would come to pit road and probably have enough fuel to get to the end if we would go green.
I talked to Tony Liberati before the race, and he made the comment, oh, problems once again. This time it's the 35 of Tom Birdie.
Coming off turn number 2, you see a lot of damage to the front of Tom Birdie's car. Caution flag will now come out. We will get to see if these leaders will make their pit stop. I'm sure they all will. Put tires on and have enough fuel to go to the distance if we were to go green the rest of the way.
Again, Tom Birdie's accident on the backstretch. Safety crews get to him. Hard contact on the front of that race car. It's a difficult turn coming out of turn 2. If you get loose, it's really hard to get the handle back, Phil.
It really is, and you have very little room. You see, that's the racetrack. The white line is the racetrack, so you have very little apron. See Tom moving around on the car. That's a good sign. Rick, let's take a look back at what may have caused Tom to get turned around coming off turn 2. You see him there. That's him right in the middle of our screen. He just gets a little bit loose and straight into the inside wall. Let's take another look at what happened. It's going to be right to the left of your screen. He's going to come in view here. He gets a little bit sideways.
One good thing to look at here, there's a safer barrier right where he hits.
Yeah, watch the safer barrier give right here. You see that safer barrier give a little bit.
It absorbs some of that impact.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's one of the best things to come along in a long time in our sport. So there's another view. See him just get a little bit loose. Looks like he may have. He knew that there were some faster cars coming. I think maybe he turned the wheel to try to give them some more room coming off turn 2 and lost the back end. There's Tom getting out of that car. Great to see. Now we have our leaders coming down pit road.
So Tom Birdie will climb out of the number 35 and looks like he'll walk over to the ambulance. Here comes the field onto pit road. Wendy.
And our leader Justin Marks really likes to see this caution. Other than the vibration in the engine, he also has a little bit free in the middle. That's what he wants to fix. That's going to be 4 tires and some slight adjustments for the 32 of Justin Marks. Right next door to him, Craig Ghost in second. It's going to be 4 tires and absolutely no adjustments for the 81 car. He is very pleased with his race car. Jim.
4 tires in the track bar and air pressure adjustment, a slight one for Nelson Piquet, currently second or third on the racetrack, excuse me. The first pit stall way down at the end of pit road. Talking him down pit road, veteran spotter Mark Kalanoff. Mike Kalanoff is the spotter for Matt Kenseth on race day on Sundays. He talked him in, told him not to speed, easy in, easy out, and Piquet is down and away. It looks like about 4 or 5 car spots he lost on pit road.
Great race off of pit road. Looks like Justin Marks will have to work his way by a few more cars. This is why we're under caution number 4. Tom Birdie coming out of turn number 2 loses the back end into the inside wall. We'll be back with more. Saturday, April 24th, Rolex Sports Car Series will thunder through the gentle landscape of Virginia. The legendary Virginia International Raceway. Rojas will continue their quest for the championship. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series from VIR, April 24th, 2 p.m. only on Speed. Good crowd here in the infield enjoying the Arca Racing Series. Let's go back down to pit road and Wendy Venerini.
Justin Marks, who came in the leader on that pit stop, is out in 6th right now. He still has the motor issues, but really what held him up on that pit stop was just a slow stop on the left-hand side with the tire, some issue on the pit stop. So that's what put Justin Marks in 6th on this restart. Jim.
Real quick, Wendy, when they left pit road, the 6th car of Nelson Piquet looked like he might have lost a few spots, but they reviewed the tape and they gave him some spots back. So Nelson Piquet did beat out the 51 of Buescher off of pit road, but they gave him the spot between the 29 of Finley and the 51 of Buescher. So a call made by the officials to put him back in line in 3rd on this restart.
But how about nice pit work by Eddie Sharp's guys for Craig Ghost? Get that 81 car out in the lead.
Very good work on pit road. I'm impressed with Nelson Piquet early on in this race. A 1.5 mile racetrack is very demanding, and he's holding on to a top 3 spot. Green flag back in the air. Craig Ghost with a great restart. Brings the field to the stripe.
Piquet looks to the outside of Chad Finley. Not quite enough room there that time. There's James Buescher, the 51, going to look to the inside of Nelson Piquet Jr. Oh, jump.
That spot
contact.
away.
Mikey Kyle got into his teammate Steve Arpin. They straightened it out.
Mikey Kyle has been sliding all over the racetrack today. Right behind him, the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. You notice the inside line. Again, I want to remind you, the Arca Racing Series, the inside line is the lap down cars. The outside line on the restart is the lead lap cars. And there's a battle for the 2nd spot.
Great battle. James Buescher now takes over the 2nd spot from Chad Finley. Remember, you mentioned he only got 4 or 5 laps of practice, lost an engine. Those guys spent the rest of the practice getting that engine changed. They weren't very good. They didn't feel like in practice, so they made some great changes.
Chad Finley moving up the racetrack just a bit. And that number 29 right behind him on his back bumper. Here comes Justin Marks.
Glances to the outside for just a moment. Chad Finley ran a limited amount of races last year. Actually sat on the pole for our final race last year at Rockingham. Remember, the 29 car is a car owned by Brad Keselowski.
Currently running in the 3rd spot as he lost a position to the 51.
Remember, we talked about the 25 of Mikey Kyle getting into his teammate. Look right side of your screen. That's Mikey Kyle, the 25. Steve Arpin, the 55. They make a little contact. Steve does a nice job. Doesn't even hardly get out of shape. Mikey Kyle, though, saves his car right in front of Ricky Carmichael.
And you've got to be cautious of maybe a left rear going down on that 55 with the contact that was made. Out in front of this field, it's Craig Ghost once again in the 81. A very impressive pit stop for that team has put him out in front of the field. And now he is dominating as he goes by the stripe. It is 1.9 seconds, the differential between he and James Busher, who's running second.
Craig has a little momentum on his side. Came off his best career finish at Salem last week. Was 4th quickest in practice. Great operation. Remember, that's a championship winning operation of Eddie Sharp Racing.
They feel like they have got everything in line. Problems once again. This time it's the 82 of Sean Corr. Into the inside wall hard. You see the debris up the racetrack. Here's one trying to avoid. He'll slide back up the racetrack. That is the 12 of Russ Duggar. He came out of any other vehicles, gets it straightened back out.
Could have easily went head on into the outside wall. Did a nice job of getting the brakes and stopping that car before he did.
There's the damage to the 82 of Sean Corr, though. That brings out our 5th caution.
Sean was one of the cars that was on the lead lap, had a top 15 run going. A lot of damage, though. It looks very similar to Tom Birdie's car, the 35 car that hit that inside wall coming off turn 2 a little while ago.
As we are now at the halfway point of this race, out in front, Craig Ghost. And problems for Sean Corr in the 82. Let's take another look.
He's already made some contact. See the 12 of Russ Duggar decides to go to the inside, loses the back end, but does a nice job holding the brakes on that car. He had some other traffic coming along the outside. See Sean, he just gets a little bit loose right behind the 44 Frank Kimmel. Then he tries to chase it up the hill, loses control, comes down off the banking into the outside, much like Tom Birdie did.
Yep, hits that safer barrier, just the beginning of it on the inside wall. Does a lot of damage to the inside. And there you see Russ Duggar in that 12 wanting to go to the inside, but carrying a lot of speed, got sideways.
We have the advantage of being up high there. There was a lot of smoke probably from Sean's car when Russ Duggar came along. You see the smoke right there. That smoke's a lot worse for those drivers coming than it is for us looking at it from this angle.
It looks like Russ Duggar was coming up behind Rob Brent as well. Makes a little contact with that inside wall. It was on the back bumper of the 36 and looked like he was trying to avoid that. And then all of a sudden there was the 82 of Sean Corr. So continued even further to the inside, but kept it straight.
Russ Duggar turned the wheel so hard that that's why he lost the back end as he went to the inside of Sean Corr.
A lot of damage to the front end of the 82. That will be, I'm sure, the end of the day for Sean Corr as he will go behind the wall and into the garage. It's Craig Ghost out in front of the field now. James Busher chasing. Chad Finley, Justin Marks running 4th, and Nelson Piquet rounding out our top 5. Sean Corr, wild ride into the inside wall, brings out our 5th caution. Welcome back to Texas. We take a look at our Messina Wildlife Race recap. Early on, problems for Nur Ali coming out of turn 4, gets into the wall. Single car incident.
Lap number 14. Mikey Kyle on the inside. He slides up in to the 16 of Joey Coulter. Also collects Patrick Shelter and Steve Arpin. All those drivers able to continue.
Then lap 21, Mikey Kyle trying to make the move on the inside of Alex Kennedy. Not enough room. Kennedy gets sideways. Mikey Kyle continues on.
See here, lap number 27. Allie Owens takes a ride through the infield. Does a nice job not getting back up into traffic. Does not bring out a caution flag.
Also going through the infield, the 38 of Alex Kennedy on lap 33. He does not bring out the caution this time. But then on lap 39, we've got a problem with Tom Birdie in the 35.
Yeah, Tom makes hard contact, loses control coming off turn 2 into the inside wall.
Very similar. The next incident is that 82 of Sean Corr. He gets into the inside wall, and he will go behind the garage. But take a look at the ride that Russ Duggar has in the 12 just behind him.
He does a nice job of not making any more contact with that outside wall. He turned so hard. There was a lot of smoke from the spin of Sean Corr. He did not know exactly where to go. He went to the inside, lost control, turned the wheel so hard.
Take a look at the numbers of the Messina Wildlife Race recap after 54 laps. It's Craig Gose out in front. 4 lead changes. We've had 5 cautions for 21 laps. There's 2 cars out of the race, and there's 20 cars still on the lead lap. Let's get up to speed with our pit reporters. We go first to Wendy Benarini.
Well, Craig Gose is coming off his series best finish last week in Salem, where he finished second. Now he finds himself the leader of the race, and on that last run he asked his crew chief Johnny Allen, how are my laps comparing? Johnny let him know he's running about 2/10 faster a lap than the 51 and the 29. He also reminded Craig Gose to be easier on the restarts. Expect Craig to really pump it up with 20 laps to go. Jim?
And right behind him will be the 29 of Chad Finley, that Auto Value Chevrolet. It's a very important race for them. They're sponsors here in Texas, but this Michigan short tracker, all they did was a slight pressure and 4 tires on the last pit stop. He went from 24th, now running in 3rd for Chad Finley. He finished top 3 at Berlin Raceway last year, was on the pole at Rockingham last year, but his crew chief just told me, we've got a late model racer here who needs to pick it up on these restarts. That's been our only issue. The car's been handling great for Finley.
Continue to clean up the racetrack. Chase Mattioli will be the Aaron's lucky dog and get a lap back. So Chase Mattioli currently running in the 18th spot. We'll be back with more from Texas Motor Speedway after these messages. Coverage of the Arca Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Burger King. To remind you to have it your way. By Ansel, for over 100 years, the world leader in hand protection. And by #1 rated Scratch Doctor. Keep your car looking great with Scratch Doctor. Let's go back trackside to Wendy Venturini.
Thanks, Rick. We're continuing to follow the engine troubles on the 32 of Justin Marks. He restarted that last green flag at 6th and moved up 2 spots to 4th. However, the vibration is still there. I talked to their engine tuner, and he said there's not sure if the gauge is reading inaccurately, but the gauge has been bouncing around in the car, and it still has that vibration despite switching those boxes. Jim?
Well, Frank Kimmel started this race in the 3rd position, but he just came down pit road on lap 51 to put a turn out of the car to get it to handle better. He's been complaining since the middle of the race that when he's behind another car, he loses the nose. So they did that change. They also topped off on fuel. They didn't think they were able to make it the rest of the way, but this pit stop on lap 51 should get him good to go to the end. He'll, however, have to start well back in 15th in the Menards Ansel Ford.
Interesting report there by Wendy as far as Justin Marks. He's been so good this entire race. We hope that engine holds off, and we hope he can put up a challenge for Craig Gose, James Buescher, and Finley up in front of him. Pace car is off the racetrack. Again, it's Craig Gose out in front of the field. He gets into the gas, and we're back to green flag racing.
See Joey Coulter lined up on the inside. Joey is being shown a couple laps down. A problem for Chad Finley on the start. Oh, he's going to make some contact with Nelson Piquet Jr.
Chad Finley slowing way down. It looked like he missed a gear, but then all of a sudden he slowed down and tried to turn hard left.
And now he looks like he's back up to speed. He didn't make contact with Nelson Piquet Jr. There's Mikey. Ooh, now he's back up to speed, going around the outside of Mikey Kyle.
Quite a bit of speed as he makes the pass. Here comes Craig Gose again, working up front. Joey Coulter on the inside.
Joey's 2 laps down. He knows that he has to earn one of those laps back before he would be in position to get the Aaron's lucky dog. But James Buescher right now said, I'd like the lead.
Very strong out of the 51 of James Buescher as he gives chase to Craig Gose. Gose still looking for his first win in the Arca Racing Series.
You know, Nelson Piquet Jr. you see right up your screen actually is Patrick Shelter getting by Mikey Kyle. Nelson Piquet Jr. started on the pole by virtue of car owner points from last year. Of the 3 Menards Pole Award by Ansel winners this year, 2 of them were in the car number 51. James Buescher at Daytona and Casey Roderick at West Palm Beach.
James Buescher wants to be the guy who hoists the trophy at the end of the race, though, Wendy.
At that race at Daytona, James Busher came home fourth. Today, his car is just as strong, if not stronger. His crew chief, Nick Harrison, told me they tightened up the car. He was getting a little bit too free. James Busher feels really good about his race car, despite having that blown engine yesterday and getting very limited practice time.
There's Justin Marks, the 32. Look who's slow through that corner there. 09 of Grant Enfinger drives away from him through the center.
Again, we talked about potentially an engine issue with the 32.
Let's go back to that restart. We saw Chad Finley, the 29 car, very, very slow. Watch your bottom of your screen. That's Chad Finley, the black car. Justin Marks in the 32. Chad Finley takes off. Everything looks good. Obviously looks like he misses a gear. A little bit of contact with Justin Marks and Chad Finley, and then Chad Finley runs into Nelson Piquet Jr.
Saw Ricky Carmichael making the move in the number 4 trying to get by, and now we see Craig Gose lengthening out the distance between himself and that 51. There you see Patrick Shelter just in front of the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. On the inside of them, Mikey Kyle in the 25.
Patrick Shelter has the 7th position right now. Ricky Carmichael, Mikey Kyle racing for 8th.
Side by side at the stripe. Carmichael on the outside and that Monster Energy drink number 4.
Been very, very impressed with Ricky Carmichael. Had a great battle in Daytona we saw with Danica Patrick, ended up finishing 7th. Really did a nice job, had a top 10 run in the truck at Atlanta, and then went to Martinsville, had another top 10 run in that truck. So really catching on to this 4-wheel racing.
Ricky Carmichael planning to run the entire Camping World Truck Series season, getting into the Arca Racing Series when he can. Trucks are off this weekend.
Talked to Mr. Turner, his car owner and truck owner. He said, hey, we want to get him, as you see Frank Kimmel, who made a pit stop on this most recent caution flag, get by Ricky, but we want to get Ricky in a car or a truck as much as we can. He just needs seat time. That's a great idea for him to come to the Arca Racing Series to get that seat time.
Frank Kimmel getting by Ricky Carmichael, now trying to set sail with that Ansel Ford. Craig Gose setting the pace, though, as he has a 1.7 second lead now over James Busher.
That last lap a full half second faster than James Busher. Craig ran a 29.90, James Busher a 30.43.
We always hear about guys that have good runs maybe on a short run or a long run. And we saw James Busher really battle Craig Gose early on, but now he has dropped back. Maybe his car better on the short runs.
Yeah, over 2 second lead right now for Craig Gose over James Busher. Remember, as Wendy just told us, very, very limited practice for James Busher. So they pretty much just took a stab in the dark at what kind of setup they needed for this race.
Lined up, going down the backstretch. 38, Alex Kennedy. In front of the 60 of Patrick Shelter. Mikey Kyle runs a higher line. Frank Kimmel down in that 44, running toward the bottom of the racetrack. I think Shelter looks to go to the outside. We'll see if he can make the pass through 1 and 2. Up in front of him, that's Chad Finley in the 29 going by the 32. Wendy, are we hearing anything more about problems with that 32?
Yeah, the problems are continuing for Justin Marks, and this time it's wrecking loose, he said 2 times in a row to his crew chief. He is not happy with the race car, and that's probably because of a little bit of damage that he had involved in with Chad Finley, and there he goes, taking it around. You guys have a better view than I do of that.
Yeah, Wendy, he got way loose coming out of 4. It looks as though he's going to try to keep it off the racetrack. Slides up, the caution comes out once again. That's caution number 6 here at Texas.
He was wrecking loose, that's for sure. Did a nice job, though, avoiding the outside wall and keeping that car down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Disappointing for Justin Marks. I'm sure he felt so good at the beginning of this race, confident that he had a car that could win. And then with the engine issues and then the contact with...
He was really, really loose, as Wendy said, and you saw him. Now he's headed back towards the racetrack. See him let off the brake at the right time and then get back on the brakes to get that car out of the racing groove. There's another view right behind the 29, Chad Finley. See him hard in the throttle to keep that car out of the outside wall.
Yeah, again, you see the damage to the right front of that race car, and he was talking about how the handling changed so much. There was the contact when Chad Finley missed his shift on the restart. There's real time coming out of 4.
Going to come right at us, right at our camera.
Trying to keep it out of the racing groove. And the caution comes out once again. Whenever it's bad for one person, it's got to be good for another. So Russ Duggar gets the Aaron's lucky dog because of this caution coming out. So he will grab a lap back. Craig Ghost continues to lead here at Texas Motor Speedway. Here they come onto pit road for the Arca Rattlesnake 150, Wendy.
Yeah, this was a call unexpected because crew chief Johnny Allen did tell Craig Ghost they were done coming down pit road, but here we are 30 laps to go, and our leader has hit pit road along with the 51 of James Busher in second. Let's head down to Jib.
Same story for Steve Arpin. They were settling on the radio to stay out. They said track positions, everything, but Billy Venturini made the call. Bring it down, bring it down. Let's get 4 in this race car because others they were fearing were going to come down and leave them hanging. Tires on the 555 now of Steve Arpin, the Mike's Hard Lemonade Chevrolet. A little bit of a hang up on the left rear, packing it full of fuel, and he is down and away.
I think it's a situation of follow the leader. When Craig Ghost came down pit road, almost every other car came down pit road. The only 2 cars to stay on the racetrack that have been running up front was the 09 of Grant Enfinger and the 25 of Mikey Kyle.
51's going to try to get out. Take a look at that. He hits the right rear tire of that 31 of Tim George Jr.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have a whole lot of damage. I don't think he'll have to come back down pit road, but it looked like he beat the 81 of Craig Ghost out of the pits.
We'll line them all back up as we slip away to another break. Grant Enfinger was scored as your leader most recently here in Texas. Monday, don't miss an all-new episode of Fast Track to Fame. It's the talent competition so wild it can only happen trackside. Fast Track to Fame from Texas Motor Speedway, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
Do you have any talent to go on that show, Rick? I mean, I've never seen any out of you.
I'm trying to learn the guitar, but I'm guessing that I wouldn't stand a chance. I know a couple chords.
Do you? I
That's
mean,
about
I've been around you a lot. I haven't seen much talent, so. I mean, musical.
I'm offended
I meant
by
musical
that. I think
talent.
I'm offended.
Sorry, I meant musical talent.
We've had 6 cautions. The most recent, the 32 with problems. We go back trackside to Jim Trado.
And restarts are not friendly to the 9-time champ Frank Kimmel. On that last restart, he complained about losing third gear. It's gone. He dropped it back about 20 car lengths, made it back up in the top 10. They came down pit road after saying the car was good, but man, he's got a lot to make up here. Watch him on the restart. He's going to lose spaces again, lose some spots here on the front stretch.
Bright yellow car back there, 3/4 of the way through the field. Green flag back in the air.
Looked like Mikey Kyle jumped in the throttle, spun the tires. Joey Coulter gets out in front of Grant Enfinger.
Again, Coulter is a couple laps down, so he's trying to win one of those back by staying in front of our race leader. 4 wide going through 1, 2.
Both Busher and Steve Arpin way up high.
They are spread out as they go down the backstretch.
4 wide
spots going into turn number 3.
Patrick Shelter on the inside. Slow car in front of him.
They are able to keep them all going the right direction as they cross the stripe. Out in front.
09, right?
Grant Enfinger in front of this field. Mikey Kyle running second in the 25. How about Patrick Shelter getting sideways there?
Completely sideways. Ricky Carmichael able to get in front of him. Here comes Frank Kimmel. Frank got a pretty good start considering he's lost third gear.
Here in the 34 of Daryl Basham has been posted for leaking fluid. That could be a big problem on this racetrack.
This racetrack has a lot of grip, but you don't want to be riding around in some fluid. You see Grant Enfinger continues to lead. Remember now, Joey Coulter now 1 lap down, almost 2.
Yeah, Phil, you said this track has a lot of grip. Well, it's also got a lot of speed. You don't want to get into any kind of fluid on this racetrack. These cars running upwards of 184 miles an hour, averaging 184 miles an hour around this 1.5-mile racetrack. Side by side, Craig Ghost and James Busher. Some sparks flying as they go through the bumps in 1 and 2.
Craig Ghost able to make the pass.
Inside of 25 laps remaining in this one. Again, a pretty short race, only 150 miles. Sideways is the 38 of Alex Kennedy once again. He gets it collected back up.
Good battle right there. There's an 81. Craig Ghost, the 51, James Busher, and the 29 of Chad Finley. That is a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Here comes Chad Finley running the high line against Finley driving for Brad Keselowski in that number 29. There's some side-by-side racing from Patrick Shelter on the inside. Ricky Carmichael on the outside. They're closing in on that 44 of Frank Kimmel.
That's a battle for the 8th position. Frank has 7th. There's Rob Brent, the 36 car. There's battle for 2nd. Teammates. Mikey Kyle, the 25. Steve Arpin in the 55.
Steve Arpin has the strong car. We've seen it almost all day. The problem is he's got some damage to that, but it didn't take long to get by Mikey Kyle. He waves to him. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah, Steve Arpin was the fastest car on the racetrack that time. He ran 0.4 of a second faster than our leader Grant Enfinger did.
Steve Arpin now up to the 2nd spot. He'll try to reel in Grant Enfinger. You see Billy Venturini up on top of the pit box, calling the shots for that 55.
Trying to make it 2 in a row.
For Russ Digger in the 12. He's slow on the inside of the racetrack. Now he scoots back up onto the racetrack. Looks like he lost control just a bit. We'll see if he can get back up to speed.
That was coming off turn number 4. Looks like he is back up to speed.
There's Rob Brent in the 36 on the inside of Ricky Carmichael in the 4.
That's a battle for the 9th position.
Carmichael trying to get back by Rob Brent on the outside of the racetrack.
Nelson Piquet Jr. in the 6 car right behind them, just outside the top 10. Chad Finley gets by the 25 of Mikey Kyle to take over the 4th position.
There's Grant Enfinger trying to go by Joey Coulter. Again, you had mentioned Joey Coulter was a lap down, trying to race his way back 1 lap to enable himself to be the Aaron's lucky dog or get into position to get that back.
That's when you have trouble and you get 2 laps down, it's very, very difficult to overcome that. Joey had a few laps there where if the caution were to come out, he would have got 1 of his laps back, but didn't work out for him.
There's the difference between 1st and 2nd. Grant Enfinger in the 09. That's the red car coming out of turn 4. The 55 is 2 cars back right there in 2nd. That's Steve Arpin in the Mike's Hard Lemonade.
It's a battle for the 5th position. Mikey Kyle the 25. James Busher in the 51.
They're door to door as they make their way through 1 and 2.
Looks like James has it.
And them, we see Ricky Carmichael, Rob Brent battling for position on this racetrack. Patrick Shelter just in front of them. A little side by side there. Here comes Steve Arpin going by that 16 again of Joey Coulter. A couple laps down. Craig Gose behind him now. Steve Arpin's been able to get by Gose. He holds on to that 2nd spot.
Craig Gose able to get by the 16 of Joey Coulter. Ricky Carmichael into the wall.
Big damage to the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. You see the sparks flying.
No caution as of yet.
Ricky Carmichael down on the bottom of the racetrack. Right front tire down on that. You see a lot of damage to the outside of that race car. Let's take another look.
See him on the outside of the racetrack, on the outside of the 36 of Rob Brent. Looks like he just got too close to the outside wall going around the outside of Rob Brent. Then I think that's when the right front tire went down.
So Ricky Carmichael trying to get by the outside of Rob Brent, ran out of racetrack, got into the wall. You see the damage. We stay green here at Texas Motor Speedway. Grant Enfinger continuing to lead. There's one of the race owners, Brad Keselowski, watching Chad Finley, who's running fourth. Welcome back. Here's the battle for the lead. Grant Enfinger in front of the 55 of Steve Arpin. The distance has been closed. Arpin, the fast car on the racetrack. It's only a matter of time now.
Craig Gose running 3rd right now, has an awfully good car too. Once the 55 of Steve Arpin got by him, he's been able to hang with him, but they're both faster than the 09 of Grant Enfinger. Remember, Grant Enfinger was one of the 2 cars, along with Mikey Kyle in the 25, that stayed on the racetrack under our most recent caution.
They're all in the number 10. We saw him on the bottom of the racetrack as these cars went by. There you see the gap getting closed. Grant Enfinger in front of the 55 of Steve Arpin. And Craig Gose has closed that gap, as you mentioned, right on the back bumper of the 55 now. A great battle with just 14 laps to go here in Texas.
I think these two cars are pretty evenly matched. The 55 of Steve Arpin, the 81 of Craig Ghost. I think right now, because they have better tires, they're both a little bit better than Grant Enfinger.
Caution's going to come out now. Ricky Carmichael not able to get all the way into and onto pit road. Actually, looked like he was continuing on.
I think maybe his car might not have been able to stop. A lot of times when you hit the wall like that, it'll break a brake rotor or something like that. So that may have been what happened. Ricky may not have had brakes when he came down pit road.
Because we saw him on pit road. We saw him come onto pit road, and then obviously issues with that race car. He is just past pit road, and the safety crew comes to him now.
Here he is on pit road right now. He started to turn in, realizes he has no brakes. You see that car not slowing down at all.
And kept right on going. Look at how the left rear wheel is slid out from the outside of the body of that race car. That's how hard he hit on the right side.
Yeah, bent that Panhard bar and pushed that rear end housing out the left side. But good move not trying to turn into an opening or turn into a spit, because obviously with no brakes he would have run into something.
Closing in on the final laps of this race. This is the 7th caution that has come out. And this time it's Ricky Carmichael, who had done the damage to the outside of that race car about 3 laps earlier, but was making his way onto pit road, couldn't stop in his stall, couldn't get behind the wall. And so he comes to a stop actually past the exit of pit road. You see Grant Enfinger just in front of the 55 of Steve Arpin. Craig Ghost in the 81 running in the 3rd spot. Arpin and Ghost have been the fastest cars on the racetrack here in the final stages of this race.
See Ricky able to get out of that car. He will take the mandatory trip to the infield care center.
Again tonight, immediately following this race, Speed takes you inside the life of Bill France Sr., the man that created NASCAR, America's #1 spectator sport. His vision built Daytona International Speedway and Talladega Super Speedway. You do not want to miss the NASCAR Hall of Fame biography of Bill France Sr. He's one of the 5 inductees into the first class of the Hall of Fame, which will take place next month, and you'll see it all right here on Speed.
Yeah, and Speed will have biographies of all the 5 inaugural nominees for the Hall of Fame, or actually the inductees for the Hall of Fame. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those.
Speed is your exclusive home. The process that will take place for the inductees in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Again, that grand opening takes place, I believe, the 11th of May. So a big week in the Charlotte area, and it'll all be covered right here on Speed.
I sent my RSVP in this week. I'll be there.
Very good. Very good. I'll be there as well.
Good.
I'm actually one of the voters.
Excellent.
On the Hall of Fame. The ballot. Grant Enfinger in front of Steve Arpin and Craig Ghost. Chad Finley runs in the 4th spot. Mikey Kyle in 5th. We'll be under 10 laps of racing to go from Texas. Stay with us. Coverage of the Arca Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Messina Wildlife Management. Stop animal damage with Messina Wildlife Management. And by Aaron's. Everyone's a lucky dog at Aaron's.
Rick, we have an opportunity maybe to talk to our leader, Grant Enfinger. Let's see if we can raise him on the radio. Hey, Grant Enfinger, Phil Parsons up in the Speed booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear, Phil.
Grant, you're going to have inside of 10 laps to go when we restart this race. Those guys behind you have a little fresher tires than you do. What are you going to do to keep them behind you?
Everything I can, man. So giving this Beasley Allen Ford everything we got. So hope the guys at Beasley Allen are watching right now. Maybe we can bring this one home. I think some guys behind us are a little bit quicker, but it's time for me to do my job now.
All right, buddy, you've done a great job. Let's finish it off with a good one.
Thank you, Phil.
Let's go down trackside to Wendy.
And I'm with his crew chief now. The tough calls were made already. Now it's down to business for Grant. What kind of advice did you give him, and are you guys good on fuel?
Yeah, we're good on fuel. We're to the good side, and this Beasley Allen Ford, Roush Yates engines have been great today, and he's going to do his job and keep everybody behind him, hopefully. So.
All right, good luck. And Howard Bixman also told him protect that outside line. Jim?
With the crew chief on the 55 of Steve Arpin, who'll line up in the 2nd spot in the single file restart. Crew chief Billy Venturini, it sounds like this caution might have been a benefit for you guys with that right front tire getting a little bit chattered.
Well, as we run, the right front keeps, we kind of keep gaining pressure, and the right front gets tight, and he kind of just chatters it. So this came at a good time, because I think that letting it cool down, I think it's going to give Steve the opportunity he needs. He's been doing an awesome job. He's done a great job on restarts, and we're just getting a chance for one, hopefully the last one of the day, and hopefully bring home a trophy 2 weeks in a row.
We'll see, guys.
Steve Arpin, the last race, Salem. It was a short track. He got his first ever win in the Arca Racing Series. Now he is behind the 09 of Grant Enfinger. Green flag back in the air. 9 laps of racing to go.
We've seen Steve Arpin go to the outside, but look, Craig goes to the inside.
Goes to the inside, battling for second. Here goes Arpin to the outside for the lead. Arpin takes it away from the 09 of Grant Enfinger. Now, Craig Ghost has to get by the 09.
As Billy said, he's been so good on the restarts, and yet again, he was able to drive around the outside of the 09 of Grant Enfinger.
When they come by again, it'll be 8 laps of racing to go. Enfinger holding on to second. Craig Ghost running in the 3rd spot. You see Billy Venturini cheering on his driver as they go by on the front stretch. Billy Venturini got his first win as a car owner at Salem. Now he's looking for his second with Steve Arpin out in front, and also looking for sole possession of the points lead if they leave here from Texas with this win.
See right there, Justin Marks side by side with James Busher. That's a battle for the 4th position. Justin has it. James goes real high, gets up in the loose stuff.
Up into the marbles, they say. The 51 way up high as he comes out of turn number 4. Rob Brent goes by him in the 36.
I think the 51 of James Busher has some sort of a problem. He may have a tire going down.
We watch him again very high through 1 and 2 and going slow now. Nothing slow about these 3. Here comes Craig Ghost trying to take second away from Grant Enfinger. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Last race, Salem. It was the 55 of Arpin winning the race. Craig Ghost coming home in second. They're looking to do it again. Ghost wants that top spot though.
That's where they're going to be right now, 1st and 2nd. Grant Enfinger did a great job trying to hold them off with those older tires. Actually hasn't given up that 2nd spot yet.
Enfinger staying in the throttle as he goes down the backstretch, holding off the 81 of Craig Ghost.
Got to be careful about getting loose on the bottom now.
That's the battle for second. Coming through 3 and 4. There's the loose move. Craig Ghost has to check up. Wow, what a close call from him and Grant Enfinger.
Grant Enfinger was able just to squirt out ahead of him when Craig got loose. When he had to drive up the hill to catch it, Grant was already gone.
Here comes the 51, James Busher, trying to get by that 22 of Dakota Armstrong.
Yeah, I think he's going in the wrong direction. Obviously, James Busher has some sort of a problem. Pretty much all the lead lap cars now are able to get by him.
Riding along with Joey Coulter, currently running in the 20th spot again, a couple laps down. Just behind Joey in that 77, Tom Hesser, and we see more problems with the 51. Looks as though he's got his hands full. That's James Busher in that 51.
He's just going to try to get to the inside, just ride it out. There's Mikey Kyle, the 25 car. Mikey's in the 14th spot. Yeah.
Down to the apron goes James Busher, trying to get out of the racing groove. Looks like he's going to make his way around the racetrack and probably try to get onto pit road. Frank Kimmel in front of Chad Finley in the 29. Kimmel running in the 5th spot, Finley in 6th. 3 laps of racing remain. Out in front, the 55 of Steve Arpin. Grant Enfinger running 2nd. 3rd is Craig Ghost. Justin Marks runs 4th. Frank Kimmel is 5th. Chad Finley running in the 6th spot.
Grant Enfinger doing a nice job keeping Craig Ghost behind him. They can do it for another 2 and a quarter. Problems. Joey
on
Coulter.
The racetrack. Coulter gets sideways into the inside wall. He goes just as our leader is crossing the stripe. The caution comes out once again.
Remember, we do finish under green in the Arca Racing Series.
So they'll have to do it one more time. Joey Coulter, though, into the inside wall in that number 16. That Chevrolet is destroyed.
Steve Arpin, though, has been so good on the restarts. He has the lead now. He can control it. Jim, what went on with Joey Coulter?
I just tuned in when he hit the fence, guys. He said, I think I had a tire going down because it snapped on me, got real loose right away. I couldn't save it. So unfortunately for the youngster out of Florida, a big hit on the wall and a big hit in the points, as well as Coulter was making his charge here to get in the top 5 as we are only 4 races into the season, but every lap counts, and we see the young man now climbing out of his number 16 machine. He certainly had a lot of people on board with him today here in Texas, including some ball players from the Dallas Cowboys. They gave the command to start engines, and they're hanging out in his pit. They have a rock band called Free Reign. But unfortunately for those guys, no celebration, no tuning up in victory lane for Coulter tonight.
Take another look at what happened to the 16.
See him right in the middle of two cars. Just gets a little bit loose. Trying to go by the 31 of Tim George. Got a little bit loose. The 77 of Tom Hessert right behind him.
Got into the back of him. So, yeah, he was probably loose.
Watch, see if we see the contact right here. He's a little bit loose. There's a little bit of contact right now. So Joey didn't even know he had the contact. He thought his car got really loose and all of a sudden snapped out. But he was a little bit slower going by that 31 car, I think, than the 77 of Tom Hessert expected. And that's why there's a little bit of contact right there.
Then into that inside safer barrier.
That inside wall is getting a workout off of turn 2.
Big workout tonight. It's the third car that has been into that wall. We can ride along with Joey Coulter. Look as he goes by the 31.
You hear him back off there. He backed off, got a little bit loose on the inside of the 31. And when he did, Tom Hessert really had nowhere to go. Made slight contact, but then hard contact into the inside safer barrier for Joey Coulter.
And that will end the night for Joey Coulter in the 16. We'll go extended distance in the Arca Racing Series from Texas Motor Speedway. Steve Arpin in the 55 is in front of the field. Grant Enfinger runs second. Craig Goss is third. Justin Marks and Frank Kimmel your top 5. Tonight, right after this race, Speed takes you inside the life of Bill France Sr., the man that created NASCAR, a great feature on his vision, building Daytona International Speedway and Talladega Super Speedway and making NASCAR what it is today. You don't want to miss NASCAR Hall of Fame biography of Bill France Sr. Wendy Venerini.
The 32 of Justin Marks is 4th on the racetrack right now, but he still smells something in that engine. He's not sure what it is. It could be oil, he said, so he is babying it on these last few laps. Also want to update Mikey Kyle in the 25. He came down pit road. His car was extremely tight. He also had damage from Chad Finley. Chad Finley checked up on that restart, and Mikey got into the back of him, causing some damage to his grill. Mikey's team fixed that, and he is going to restart 16th.
Saw a little smoke out of Justin Marks' car as Wendy was talking about it. I think he's right. He's smelling it. Oh, you see a little bit of puff of smoke right there.
Justin Marks right now is in the 4th spot as they come out of turn number 4 for what we expect to be the final restart. It's a green-white-checker. They will continue this until they get a green flag and checkered flag finish. Green flag in the air. 2 laps of racing to go.
Great restart by Steve Arpin. Grant Enfinger not quite as quick. Craig Goss moves to the inside.
Goss trying to take second away from Grant Enfinger. He'll do it through 1 and 2. Craig Goss trying to reel in that 55 of Steve Arpin. The field making their way through 1 and 2 down the backstretch. This time by, they'll get the white flag. You still see a little smoke coming out of the 32 of Justin Marks. He's trying to hold on to a top 5 finish. White flag in the air for Steve Arpin. 1.5 miles to go.
I think the best 2 cars right now running 1st and 2nd. Let's see if Craig Goss has anything for Steve Arpin.
This is the way they finished at Salem 1 race ago. Now, Craig Goss trying to get by that 55 of Steve Arpin as they go down the backstretch. Less than a car length separates 1 and 2. Arpin trying to get his 2nd win in a row in the Arca Racing Series as he comes out of 4. Craig Goss goes high. Will he have enough time? No. Arpin will win again.
How about momentum on his side? There's a great side-by-side battle for position. Mikey Kyle gets the 10th spot over Chad Finley.
Celebration continuing. It's Tony Liberati. We call him Rambo. Crew chief for Steve Arpin. He made a prediction before the race. He said, I know we're starting back in 22nd, but I think we've got a good enough car. I think we can be in the top 10 inside of 2 laps. Sure enough, at lap number 2, he was running 10.
And at 105 laps, he was running 1st.
They hammered on it. They got the fenders right. You got Rambo over here doing all that work on the front end, and you guys were smiling. But of course, the green-white-checker must have had been worried with Craig Goss right there on your tailpipes at the finish.
He was really good, but Steve Arpin is the man, and he is in a groove, and he has hit his rhythm. and I love it. Rambo's doing an awesome job handling this whole deal. This is a new upstart team we started this year, 2 for 2, leading the points. I love it. I love it. I'm so proud of these guys.
Rambo, you were under that front end. Well, how bad was it? Did you tell him anything, or was it bent up and you let him race anyway?
I lied to him a little bit, but we got that nose fixed, and it actually ended up being a little bit better. We got the nose pushed out. I'm gonna tell you what. Everybody at Venturini, and I'm talking all the 25 guys, all the 15 guys, we work on everything, everybody here. Mom and Pop, you know how they are. It's like working for my mom and dad. I love them to death. I love it here. And I'm going to show them boys where Victory Lane is like we did in '97 with Burton.
Second victory for Tony Liberati. They call him Rambo, and man, he can fire people up, and he certainly loves what he's got going here with Steve Arpin.
You mentioned Burton. He has been to Victory Lane here at Texas Motor Speedway before.
What a great way to introduce a new sponsor to the Arca Racing Series. Mike's Hard Lemonade comes on board Steve Arpin and goes straight to Victory Lane.
Straight to the top of the charts. Now holds the sole position in our point standings. He makes his way to Victory Lane, so we will hear from him momentarily. Celebration all around for Venturini Motorsports. A great run by Steve Arpin. Craig Ghost comes home in second. We'll hear from our winner when we come back to Texas Motor Speedway. Get a reminder immediately following us right here on Speed. He'll take you inside the life of Bill France Sr., the man that created NASCAR, America's #1 spectator sport. You won't want to miss NASCAR Hall of Fame biography of Bill France Sr. Again, that is following us right here on Speed. Let's go to Victory Lane now. Jim Trado.
And Steve Arpin's climbing out. This is a bath to remember. 2 for 2 for Steve Arpin. Bringing on a new sponsor. Victory has never tasted sweeter for Steve Arpin. Steve, you said you had a fast race car before the race, but after that damage, how hard you have to push it?
I tell you what, these guys made good calls. We got into that. God, that stuff's good. We got into the back. I think Mikey got a little bit loose. He took the air off the outside there, and they just all piled up ahead of us. There's a little bit of damage, but this thing just drove like a dream. I don't think there's any stopping it. It was this Mike's Hard Lemonade Chevy. Wow, these guys are awesome, every one of them.
Heard your communication on that last long caution. How much was that a savior for that right front tire for you on these final laps?
I tell you what, we needed it's so aero sensitive out there. We could really roll the high side the first couple laps of the run, but we just got going so good around the bottom, and as soon as we took the air off the nose, we just couldn't get around them. So those cautions were awesome. I loved them. That's so much fun rolling around there on the high side like that. You just hold it to the pin, and 3, 4 wide, it don't matter. Let's do it.
Steve, how about the last 7 days of your young life? How about the emotions you have right now in the last 7 days you've lived through?
I tell you what, this is a dream. This is what my dad and I and everyone involved in my program, we've been working at since I was 10 years old. And it's just an awesome opportunity. And Dale Jr. and all the guys are giving me the opportunity to see if I can make it up in the Nationwide Series too. So it couldn't be a better group of guys to go and drive for. Dale and Kelly and everyone over there at Junior Motorsports. They're all real racers, and that's what's so awesome about every one of these guys here at Venturini's. They're so passionate about what they do. Each and every one of these guys, it's awesome.
Making a statement for the championship here in Arca as well. Let's check in with Wendy.
Well, they came in here as shared points leader. It was between Steve Arpin and Justin Marks, only 10 points behind as you leave Texas. A 4th place finish, but man, oh man, you were holding on to that engine.
Oh yeah, it was. I don't know if we got a bad set of tires or what. I mean, we just got real free in the middle of the race. It was awesome at the start. Constructor Toyota was really, really great. And this is going to be a hard-fought championship. And we come back from that fight hard for a top 5 finish, and 55 wins the race. We're going to be battling week in and week out, but love this racetrack and just happy to be here with these guys.
For everything Justin Marks overcame, a 4th place seems like a victory for him.
Great run for Justin Marks. Want to take a look at our unofficial results from race number 4. Steve Arpin again grabbing his 2nd win in the Arca Racing Series. Craig Ghost again finishing 2nd, so ties his career best.
Yeah, for a second week in a row. Great job by Grant Enfinger again. Every time this guy shows up, he finishes in the top 5. He finished 3rd on older tires than a lot of the guys he beat.
Nur Ali in that number 10, again a Fort Worth, Texas driver, looking for a better finish here, but he had a lot of people here cheering him on. Again, 38 cars started this race. There was some problems early on for a few. But the celebration will continue for Steve Arpin and his team. We go back down to Wendy Venturini.
Our second place finisher, Craig Gosa, you said you seemed a little bit agitated. How would you describe those final laps?
Well, you know, 2 weeks in a row, being the, finishing second. We had a winning car tonight, and we had two things happen. We had a little bit of unfortunate accident in the pit stop, and then on one of the restarts, I got up under the 55. And the 09 just stopped in the middle of 1 and 2, and the 55 got by on the outside, and I just didn't have enough laps to get back around the 09 and then catch back up to that lead to get by the 55. I mean, we had a winning car. That's why I'm a little agitated, but I'm definitely happy, with the finish overall. It's a good point stay for us. Greenville Toyota. I thank my mom, dad, girlfriend, everybody, Eddie Sharp Racing.
All right, 2 second place finishes in a row for Craig.
Take a look at our top 5 in points. Steve Arpin, 10-point lead over Justin Mark. A little over a decade since the first time they ran here at Texas Motor Speedway, and a great performance once again by the Arca Racing Series.